Hello and welcome to this special show on Rajya Sabha Television. I am Vishal Dahiya, and here we take a stock of India's fight against COVID-19, the pandemic, which all of us are facing right now, not only in our country, but at a global level. Now, this particular pandemic has had a lot of impact on quite a number of activities, the economic activities, the business activities. There are several sectors which have faced these challenges and are now trying to go ahead and come back on track. One of such sectors is the tourism sector, which has now been allowed by the government to go ahead and resume operations with obviously strict adherence to the guidelines for the safety of not only the people who work in tourism sector, but also for the consumers. So today we will take a look at what has been the impact of a COVID-19 pandemic on the tourism sector and what are the challenges now and how these challenges can be tackled further. For this, we're joined by a distinguished panel of guests. Let me first introduce them to you, beginning with Ms. Rupinder Barar. She is Additional Director General with the Ministry of Tourism. We also have with us Mr. Vikram Singh Gaur, former Joint Secretary with the Niti Aayog, who was looking after the tourism affairs there. We also have with us an industry representative, Mr. Pranab Sarkar. He is the president of IATA, that is Indian Association of Tour Operators. So welcome, all of you, to Rajya Sabha TV. And let me begin with you, Mr. Sarkar. Since you are the industry representative, what has been the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the tourism sector so far? What's the assessment?
The problem our industry started facing from the month of February itself, and March it was almost closed down, and all the borders were sealed, all the visas were cancelled, all the flights were stopped operating, and therefore we had a very difficult situation to send back those tourists before, and government has helped, Ministry of Tourism has helped to send them back. And with the kind we have lost a lot of business, and we have first to start having our damages, and we are the one who are going to revive last. But government is trying to open up, but this is a difficult situation at the moment. For us, is the survival is the very important point, because most of us we have to pay the salaries to our staff. No, help we have received from the government as far as the packages are concerned. Anything we have not got, and 3 months we have paid the salaries: March, April, May. June is the tough month where we have to tell our people that you go on furlough or something, because this is the situation we need to survive. And in the midst of the situation, we are also facing big challenge of a lot of refunds from our government bodies, like Air India has not refunded us. Many other airlines, they have not refunded for the cancelled flights. Our tourists could not go. So we are facing a lot of challenges on liquidity. And safari parks, we have paid advance to the safari parks, like to the Rajasthan government and Madhya Pradesh government. We have not get back those things. We have written to the chief ministers of those states also, but no replies. And also the Palace on Wheels, the luxury trains, we have paid crores of rupees in advance, and those trains got cancelled and refund is due, and our clients are asking refund. We are in a very, very critical situation because of the liquidity problem, and the situation is very, very tough. And at the midst of now, the tourism is going to start. So we don't see any reason immediately we will get any help because of this opening, because the number is spreading very fast nowadays, you know it. So I can see that tour operators per se, we will not get immediate business at the moment. Maybe the restrictions of the all the borders has to open up. All the quarantine number of days by each state is different. So people are not feeling good to travel at the moment. Within the state, there may be some green zones where the resorts are there, hotels are there. Driving tourism may start. As far as tour operators are concerned, we are yet to wait for this business to come in.
Okay. Undoubtedly, there is no doubt about the fact that tourism and travel industry has been affected to a great extent by COVID-19 pandemic. And in fact, one of the reports, study which has been done by Care Ratings says that the revenue loss in this industry would be somewhere around 1.25 trillion rupees. Let me bring in Mr. Gaur here. Mr. Gaur, your assessment of the effect or the impact of COVID-19 on the tour and tourism and travel sector.
Mr. Dahiya, yes, as Mr. Sarkar has pointed out, the scenario is really very pathetic, and virtually the whole thing has literally collapsed. And in fact, Mr. Sarkar has really been quite candid in really defining the decision. In my opinion, things are really quite in bad shape. What to talk of the resuming it, in fact, the whatever money which they are expecting from the travel agency or the airlines or from the government agencies, this is right now it's totally in a totally disorganized manner. The big challenge is that how to start and when to start, because the efforts which are going to be taken for this tourism industry to release just to begin with, it will be quite momentous task. But like as I feel is that now probably they will have to change with the time, and they will have to be a bit innovative to start with the things, and whatever little resources they can generate, whatever little business they can generate, whatever little facility they can provide, that is going to be really big support for this industry. And because the scenario is going to be, I don't see at least for next 1 year, probably they will be in a good position to really resume anything around 60 to 70% of the business what they were having prior to December 19 actually. So in my opinion, yes, things are really quite bad shape, but they'll have to be innovative. They'll have to invest on hygiene factor. So they'll have to really convince and motivate the potential tourists so that really they can think and dare out to come out of the houses and they can visit these areas.
Okay. Ms. Barar, from the government's perspective, if we look at the way, this particular sector has fared in the past few weeks or months during this particular pandemic, what's the government's assessment? One, and two, you heard both Mr. Sarkar, the industry representative, and Mr. Gaur there as well. There are certain apprehensions and there are certain, points on which the industry would want some sort of, help from the government there. So your views on both aspects. Let's start with the assessment of the situation.
Thank you, Mr. Dahiya, for having me as a ministry representative on the Rajya Sabha TV, and thank you, co-panelists, for your views. Well, yes, goes without saying that something like travel, which is entirely, dependent on actually moving, and tourism does not happen till we don't really travel. It's an industry which was bound to get hit, and it's not only our industry which has been hit, but I would say life itself has been hit, and not only in India, but it has taken global proportions. In fact, I think in India, as we talk even now, though the cases are rising, but if we look at the percentage of the cases that are actually getting affected and also the morbidity rates, I think we need to cross our fingers and keep hoping that India continues to go forward in a manner which is far less debilitating than many other parts of the world. So first, I would like to say that part of it. In terms of the impact direct to our sector needs, I think, no further emphasis that, as I already mentioned, since travel itself cannot happen, definitely tourism has been badly hit. The other thing about tourism is that it is finally a discretionary kind of a spend. It's also a discretionary activity. So if there is a threat to life, which is what the pandemic has, opened up as, well, definitely none of us, even today, when you have a choice of traveling, the government has opened flights in a phased manner. You can start coming out of your homes, but there is an apprehension. So I think at this governmental level, the first concern, therefore, is to make sure that our people are safe. And that's the first thing, therefore, we as a ministry did. Mr. Sarkar also just mentioned that the first concern as a ministry was that if we have tourists from anywhere out of India in our country, we must make sure they need to get back to their homes safe and sound. And that's where Stranded in India was kind of set up overnight as a helpline. And it helped a lot of people to find those right connections. The tour operators, the agents, the hotels, everybody got together, making sure that whoever was leaving India in the times of pandemic, at least carried back an image that I was looked after in times of the pandemic. Because those are the memories that will get people back to our country. In terms of other kind of support which the governmental level again needs to provide to an industry which is clearly beleaguered, I would not entirely agree with the assessment given that the government has not come forth. Well, as a sector, we are not identified many a time. We do not have ourselves listed as an agency which is related to tourism. More than 70% of this sector is classified as MSME. And whatever is coming to MSMEs, therefore, will flow to our tourism-related outfits also. There are moratoriums. Things have come from the RBI in terms of easing of working capital loans. There has been deferral of taxes. State governments have been also giving support in whatever manner that they can. Yes, more can be done. I clearly, stand as a ministry person with the industry. There needs to be more help. Well, we do hope that the Ministry of Finance, which is the parent and the domain ministry for this purpose, would be looking at whatever support it can provide. From the tourism perspective, I think the industry cannot say that we have not stood with them. I'm sure Mr. Sarkar will agree with me on that.
Okay, we'll go back to Mr. Sarkar on that. But before that, Ms. Barar, one more aspect which Mr. Sarkar, brought out is the refund from several of the government agencies, be it the airlines or certain other aspects, because that is where the, a large chunk of money of several tour operators is stuck.
Yes, in fact, we've been working with the tour operators and the companies that have claims even from the DG Exports, and we've had a webinar, we've had a problem-solving session with them. We have been writing to the Ministry of Civil Aviation to intervene with the airlines. But, as you'd all appreciate, it's a pandemic that has impacted everyone. And everyone, not only in terms of just the work chains, but in terms of health chains, in terms of the advisories that we all need to respect from the Ministry of Health that we keep getting on a daily basis. So it has definitely slowed down the systems too. And not just here, but everywhere in the world. So there are glitches. I'm not going to say there are no glitches, but I think there have been solution findings. And also the pandemic is something none of us, I think, had ever thought that the world will be brought to the kind of standstill that it has. And so none of us was clearly ready for it, right? And so solutions are coming as we go forward. And I'm sure as we work together as a composite whole, whether it be the government, whether it be the stakeholders, whether it be the travelers, citizens, it's going to be a joint effort at all levels to come back and to sort of rebound with a certain amount of energy in times to come.
Okay, and I believe there is a national task force as well, which has been constituted by the Tourism Ministry 1 and 2. In terms of opening up and moving forward from here, Ms. Barar, what are the key potential areas you would look at, or the ministry is looking at? Obviously, domestic tourism is the place where we will have to begin with.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think there is no, no debate on that. There's a lot of input that has come to us from our stakeholders, the tour operators, the agents, the hoteliers, everybody associated with travel, and not only in India, but I think that's the narrative everywhere in the world, that the first to open is going to be domestic tourism. One, because of the sheer travel that is going to happen and in the way that will happen, road travel, the one night away from home, creating those small confidence value chains that, okay, I could actually go stay out for one night and I was fine. So before you head out to a far off land and have this sense of slight vulnerability that what if something happens again, what if I get stranded? So clearly domestic tourism is going to be the way forward. And as a ministry, we've been building the pitch for that. In fact, the Honorable Prime Minister, I would say, has been talking of the role of domestic tourism even before COVID happened. And the impetus from the ministry side for pushing domestic tourism has only just gained further traction as we address the issue of improving tourism in times to come in the next few months. So yes, domestic tourism is way forward, and we are very, very optimistic that as soon as people are slightly more confident about traveling, then domestic tourism shall certainly, go on an upswing.
Okay, definitely. It is a discretionary activity that is going out somewhere traveling as part of leisure or vacation. So obviously it will take some time and it'll go step by step. But let me bring Mr. Sarkar, the industry representative, on two aspects here, Mr. Sarkar. One is that the way forward is in two terms. One, the domestic tourism will be the key focus areas, and two, in a post-COVID scenario, the tourism per se, the sector will have to change. There will have to be a lot of innovations from the industry, as well as Mr. Gaur was pointing out, because the customers or the consumers would also be looking forward to something new.
Yes, you are very right. Domestic is going to start first, but before domestic starts, we have to develop the confidence level of the traveler first. It is an economic activity. Everybody knows that. Even the Prime Minister from the rampart of the Red Fort said that tourism is the economic activity and our own people should travel more frequently. So we have to create the confidence level among the people. Once they have the surplus money for entertainment, for the pleasure trips, they will definitely come out for the domestic, and state governments are more responsible before anything can start on domestic tourism, because it is the state who is going to give the full assurance that when you come to my state, border is open, there is no quarantine period for your visit, and then you can go back safely. If anything happens, state government is ready to take your hospital bill or something like that, because today's date it is very, very difficult. Our own people cannot be accommodated, and where tourists will be accommodated. The situation, this confidence has to come first before the people travel, and all the monuments will be, neat and clean, hygienic conditions will be there, and there will be some SOP for the tour operators, for the hotels, for the monuments, ASI monuments, and all the areas, tourist visiting places. Ministry is doing very closely working. We are also involved in creating the SOPs, and I know this is going to help people confidence to gain them to come and see the hygienic condition is there, sanitization is there, social distancing is available at all the places they visit. All those things need to place in a place first before the domestic starts. Confidence level has to come out. If somebody has to go to Uttarakhand, so Uttarakhand government has to give this assurance to the tourists that we are going to look after you. If it is UP tourism, then UP tourism has to give the assurance that when you reach Taj Mahal, there will be a distance available, and there will be no groupism, no standard, no mixing of the people. Those things has to come out from the state governments. One that is there. I'm sure that it will pick up, but not so recently. And once it's pick up, I think it will go a long way. And we see that international tourism will take a little longer time, because the source market, our major source market, they are also suffering very badly. And unless they decide that they will be able to travel. And another thing is that those countries are also trying to put some restrictions on the people above 60 years of age. Those people, they spend more on the luxury segment, they will not be allowed to come first. So young generations may be allowed to come. So there are a lot of pros and cons, and then by the time vaccination comes, it will be much more easier. But I don't see anything before April, and after April to September, our off season starts. So we see 1 year to 18 months we are going to suffer, and we are on ICU. We are at ICU, and our oxygen is diminishing, and we need some help. Otherwise, we will collapse.
Okay, now, definitely, you don't have to look at it in such a pessimistic way, Mr. Sarkar, because obviously, as Ms. Barar pointed out, the entire economy has felt the impact of COVID-19, and not only in India, but elsewhere in the world as well. All of us are going to go ahead and fight this together. The government, the industry, and other stakeholders as well. But coming back to the confidence building measures point which you made, Mr. Sarkar, Mr. Gaur, would you agree with what Mr. Sarkar is saying, that building the confidence of the customer is the key to revival of the tourism and travel sector?
Obviously, there is no doubt about it. In fact, just to inform you that I have been reading that a lot of state governments have already taken proactive steps. Like, for example, I was reading about Rajasthan. In Rajasthan, Jaipur city, in fact, in last 2 days, in fact, as we have started the unlock down first, as we have started, in the first 2 days, there were 1,700 tourists at Hawa Mahal. So that was a quite a good figure, and people came out. And then, in fact, out of the 1,700, more than 200 were foreigners. So they were there. People are ready to work out. The state government have ensured all the protocols and SOP to be adhered, to be observed during the visitors by the tourists, everything. So that is there, because every state government will have to understand, and most of them do realize it, because it is in their interest. Because if their people are not able to get employment, then it's going to be a problem for them also. So it's the overall economy in the interest of everybody. And as you know, what I'm really hopeful is that tourism, of course, the Ms. Brar has said that is a discretionary. Yes, it is a discretionary, but still in India, in the domestic tourism, I feel that, being in the house and the lockdown for almost 2 months, many of the people are feeling immediately desperate to move out, to go out certain places where they are really assured of certain SOPs and certain security of the infection. All those things are there. So I believe that, yes, once the agencies involved in it and the state government and all law enforcing authorities, they really organize their activity together, and the areas which are not really in the red zone or the containment zone, then those areas will certainly see some upswing in the footfalls of the tourists, I believe. And industry should also really not look to the profit or only the business. They must first build up the confidence, so that the people feel easy to come out of their houses and be assured, yes, when we are going to the place, we will be safe and we can come back safely. So I'm very hopeful that this will have to be done. And in my opinion, in the coming days, people will, the homestay, the rural tourism, the tourism to the remote areas, the hill areas, that will be a more preferred choices by the people who intend to move out, because those are the area people will feel that there is not much crowd, so we can go safely, and probably the hygiene level can be also better in the small places. So probably those areas will be the initial starting areas from where the tourists will start feeling confident to move out.
Okay. Let's have concluding comments from Ms. Brar before we bring this to an end in terms of the way forward from here. We all of us have come to this conclusion, and it is pretty much established as well that just like every other sector, the tourism sector has also felt the impact in a very hard way. And time is now for all of us to get together and revive this. So from here onwards, Ms. Brar, what is it that needs to be done? Obviously, building confidence of the customer is one of that.
Yes, absolutely. I think I agree with Mr. Gaur's assessment that people have been sitting home for almost 70 days, and they will be raving to travel, to visit their relatives, or go back to maybe places of worship, and so many things that we haven't been able to do for the last more than 2 months now. So I would not look at things in as dismal a manner as Mr. Sarkar is pointing out. And as times go by, the ministry and the government is understanding its responsibility in creating a sense of confidence. And confidence comes by talking, but confidence comes by actions more than that. So we've actually put out operational guidelines on the 8th of June when the hotels and restaurants were to open. The guidelines have been given out to state governments. Before that, of course, there have been advisories that have been going out. And it is now also for the stakeholders to come out and actually put those guidelines in action. And when somebody goes and visits a restaurant or a hotel or a homestay or a bed and breakfast, to actually place those guidelines, because it's the narrative of a traveler. When that gets recorded, people put out their user generated input and say, oh, I went and stayed there and I actually had no problem. That kind of confidence of voice of mouth, word of mouth is going to help people as times come by. So we've done that. We are building the narrative for domestic tourism by pushing the Dekho Apna Desh webinars. If you've been seeing them, then that's great. If you have not been seeing them, please see them, because I think we're taking the unexplored places of your neighborhood sometimes, and sometimes a little far, for us to realize that how much there is in India which we haven't really been seeing. The social media campaign which we are running on our social media handles is also gaining great traction. People are exploring, people are wanting to go out. And I'm glad Mr. Gaur pointed out about Rajasthan. We are getting similar reports from Karnataka. People are beginning to do the intrastate travel. And so they are making those nimble steps. But, I will use this platform, in fact, to all the viewers and listeners of this program, that this is a joint fight against a common evil. And we will all have to join hands together in fulfilling that little extra responsibility. If I'm a citizen, if I'm asked to follow a particular instruction, wear a mask, keep a social distance, let's do it. Why do I need a policeman to come and tell me that? There is so much of information going out in social media. I think it's time that we as a nation stand up with great responsibility and make the country safe for ourselves. When we can travel, then we'll be sending a message out to all the people away from our country, the international travelers, that, hey, if the Indians can travel and if it's safe for them, then it's safe for us to go to their country too. So I think that's the kind of a joint sentiment effort that is required. And I'm sure no arm that is related to tourism, whether it is us ourselves, whether it is our stakeholders like Pranav Sharkarji, all the hoteliers, the tour operators, the travel-related transportation, the civil aviation has come out with so many advisories, and everything is very well put by MyGov on social media in very colorful, very readable formats. So I think we must join hands as a nation and take our great country forward and take incredible India forward.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Baradia and Mr. Sarkar and Mr. Gaur, as well as our panelists are pointing out. It is indeed a huge challenge, just like any other sector. The tourism sector is also facing, and it is an uphill task to go ahead and revive this particular sector. But as our panelists pointed, that a united stand wherein all stakeholders, be it the government, the industry, or the customers, that is general people, citizens like you and me, will have to put our best foot forward. We'll have to give in our best effort in terms of ensuring that we follow the guidelines. The industry comes up with innovative ideas, and obviously the government comes up with some policy tweaks and ensuring that confidence of the consumer or the customer is built, which is crucial for the revival of this particular sector. And the beginning has been made with the domestic tourism. We'll come back again tomorrow with a different topic. Till then, keep watching Rajya Sabha Television, keep yourself safe, and follow all the guidelines. Specifically, put on a face mask when you set out of your house, and follow all the social distancing norms as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Daya.